So what I do is right here I have my Mariquois. Remember what that is? That's my carrots, onions, and celery cooking. And then I'm going to start letting it cook in all the stock. So I'm just going to open up. This is like free. It already came from the chicken that I already roasted. That was the juice at the bottom. So that's like free, yummy stuff. We talked about the turnips. So we're going to chop up some turnips first and put them in some chicken stock to boil first, because then what I'm going to do is after I cook them and boil them, I'm going to puree them. So I have them in my stock, and I'm actually going to add some garlic too. Instead of chopping them all up, I'm going to throw this in there and puree it too. So I have about probably 3 or 4 pounds of turnips that I am going to boil, puree, and then add to the stock. The other thing is you know, this is a lot of vegetable prep, and I have my daughters and my sons always help me. I always had to help my mom, and that's how I know how to cook, because I had to help my mom. So my daughter helped me cut up all the greens, or wash them and cut them up, while I chopped up the onions, celery, and carrots, and then she washed the cauliflower here, because we're going to have cauliflower. Here, there they are. Cauliflower for dinner. I'm going to roast it. I'll show you how to do that too. I love cauliflower roasted. And oh, the other thing is I wanted to teach you is how to clean the greens. So I learned this from my son, actually. Who's going to chef school. And I was sitting there cutting all these off, and he says, no, you just go like that and strip off all the greens. So that is how you clean it. And this, you just take it, and voila, there you go. And then I'm going to chop this up. I'm going to do this later, but for the soup. So isn't that super easy? Yeah. Voila. So I do that first, and then I wash them. There you go. Just took off that heavy stem, because that's no good. I mean, it's probably good to eat, but who wants to eat a tough stem of a green? Boiled the turnips, and I'm tasting them, and they are quite lovely. They have a sweetness to them. I like them. I don't know that I want to blend them up. I've changed my mind. So what I'm going to do is take out the turnips. Come with me. I'm going to take out the turnips. Okay, so our stock in here has melted, and I'm going to take out the turnips from here, and I'm going to add them, strain them out, and I'm going to put them in here as the soup. But what I'm going to do is put my greens. So here I have turnip greens, and the kale, I'm going to steam that in that chicken stock, and I think blend that up. I think that would be good, because not everybody likes to chew, and this has a really unique flavor, the tops of the turnips, when I just chew it raw, and I think it'll be really good blended up in the sauce. Put all these in, and they're going to be really full in the pot, but they totally cook down, so they'll turn kind of, you know, like when you do spinach. And then I'm going to add my garlic to it, my whole cloves, because I'm going to puree it. Greens are really cooking down. They've just been in there probably for 5 minutes. We'll leave them a little while longer to steam. Now, something also, we're going to puree those, add them to the soup. And what makes anything taste good is the 5 flavors. So you want it's sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and hot. So in our soup we have the sweet, so the carrots and the turnips. The turnips were actually sweet. And then salt, I can just add salt to the food. And then sour, I was thinking about, we could add lemon, we could add a little vinegar to be sour, but remember the the lemons that I cooked underneath the chicken. So I'm actually going to puree that in. I took them out of that broth. These are the lemons with the onions, and I'm going to put them in with the greens and blend them in. Oh, it's going to be wonderful. So just think of all those flavors. And then the bitter are the greens. The greens are bitter. And then hot, I'm going to add a little bit of hot sauce. Pepper's also hot. So you want all those flavors, because when all those flavors hit the taste buds, that's what makes everything taste good. So I want you to just be fearless when you're making soups, because soups are this great way to add all these ingredients together. So this is the greens. Come look at it. And I'm going to use my submerged blender and just blend it with the garlic. And then I'm going to add my lemons also from the okay, so I just added the green into the stock, and it looks nice. And look at all the vegetables. I mean, gosh, this is just full of it. Okay, so let me taste it. That's really good. You can taste the sweet. So I do want to add a little bit of a heat to it. So I'm just going to add hot sauce, not a whole lot. You don't want to taste the hot, it's there, and when it's there, everything tastes good. Also, I have not added much pepper to this either. I'm going to add that. Okay, so let me get another spoon. You'll see, you don't even taste it. I'll do some pepper. I'm just going to let that sit for a while, because when everything cooks together, soup is like better the second and the third day. So we're going to let this sit. I think it tastes yummy just the way it is, actually. So let's let it sit, and then we're always going to taste, because flavors change inside soup. So we'll let it sit for an hour, because we're not going to eat for another 2, and see if we need to add more heat. Okay, so with the greens, they always add a smoke flavor. So something you could do is add a hickory smoke to it. Then you automatically think, ooh, what about some beans in it? So we can keep it just the way it is, and what I'm going to do, since I made such a nice big pot of it, is I'm actually going to put it in another smaller pot and have different soups. So one pot, I'm going to add the hickory smoke to it, and maybe add some canned aduki beans or pinto beans or some Great Northern beans to it, and it'll be a totally different flavor. So I'm going to have it like this, add the hickory, and then add some beans. And for those who do bacon, the hickory would add like the bacon flavor instead of using bacon.